Hi everyone, this is Yana and welcome to another Hero Arts video tutorial. This video is the fifth one in a new series called Color Layering with Yana. In each one of those videos published once a month, I explore different ink pad and embossing powder color options for Hero Arts color layering sets. In this video, I am taking a closer look at one of my personal favorite sets, the Color Layering Mangrove. This stamp set has many potential, and with a little bit of alteration can be used for a number of ways, and not just for the mangrove trees. But first things first, let's take a closer look at some of the ink pad color options that work well for these trees. Hero Arts suggested ink pads for the color layering mangrove are Forever Green, Green Apple, Caramel, and Butterbar. Beautiful colors that let you produce vibrant mangrove trees. I decided to skip using the recommended colors today and try to find some other unexpected color combinations that work. First up is the Soft Olive and Forever Green inks. I love both of these and use them a lot for stamping greenery. You can see these stamped on top there. So Soft Olive for the base layer and Forever Green for the top detail layer. I did double stamp these and all of the images today using my stamp positioner tool to get a more vibrant and saturated ink color. The other two images were stamped with lime green and moss, and these have a much more vibrant look to them. The greenery looks more fresh here. To go along with these treetops, I also stamped the tree trunks, and here I used my tried and true combo, Soft Brown and Cup Joe. And these go well with both of my treetops. Next, I tried using other green inks from my Hero Arts collection, perhaps the greens that I reach for a bit less often. I tried Field Green and Pine to stamp these two treetops, and again, for the tree trunk, I have the one that is stamped in brown. I feel like any brown and any green always go well together. I also tried to use my neon ombre inks. You guys know that I love to use my ombre ink pads for these color layering sets, and I feel like I've used the regular ombre ink pads a lot. So I decided to play a little bit with the neon ombre inks. I used neon Chartreuse to blue for the bottom solid layer and fresh fawn ink color for the top detail layer. I especially love how this one turned out. That vibrant green is just so striking. And again, the brown tree trunk goes really well with this green. Next, I did something very wild. As I was looking at various photos of the mangrove trees on Pinterest, I saw a lot of gorgeous, colorful sunsets in the background of the trees. And you know how sometimes when the sun sets, it changes the color of everything around you. This is what I wanted to convey with these red and yellow trees here. And once again, I used my neon ombre inks. I stamped bottom layer with the neon red to purple and top detail layer with a mulled wine for the red tree. I just love how it turned out. I never would have thought to stamp a tropical tree in this color. Imagine using these colors for a fall tree though. Nice, rich red. Just beautiful. And finally, for the yellow tree top, I used neon ombre yellow to orange and pumpkin pie for the detail. This also looks fantastic and makes up for a stunning fall tree. As for the tree trunks, I went wild as well. I used Mulled Wine and Cup Joe for the red trunks, and Pumpkin Pie and Cup Joe for the light brown tree trunk. Now, this stamp set has a set of coordinating dies that cut almost every image included in this set. I used my dies and cut my stamped images out off camera. I set them aside and started working on the backgrounds for my cards. I feel like the backgrounds are just as important as the foregrounds on a project, so I always try to create interesting and corresponding backgrounds for my cards. Since I was so in the mood for that tropical sunset, I decided to use neon ombre red to purple ink pad along with a dual tip blender brush from Tonic. I'm having a hard time blending with Ranger blending tools. My hand gets tired very quickly as I try to apply too much pressure, so I decided to use these brushes instead to blend my background. I did not blend the entire background, but rather sections in the center. I didn't mask anything as I didn't want to have harsh edges on my card, but I made sure to stay in the middle of the panel and don't go too heavy on the blending. Also, since I was blending with an ombre pad, I got that instant color transition, and that I think made it even easier to blend and have a beautiful and easy background in the end. As for the hand motion, I did sweeping motion, left, right, and I didn't do my blending in a circular motion. I also blended a few more backgrounds using my other neon ombre ink pads, but I ended up not using them, so I'm saving them for another project. Included in the color layering mangrove stamp set is this little guy. I like to think that this is a flamingo. So I stamped him in Hero Arts Intense Black ink and cut out with the help of coordinating dye. I'm coloring it to use on my card, and I'm using Copics here, and just going with the RV23 pink marker and RV13 marker for some shading. I used the red tree along with the red tree trunk and 2 other green tree tops for this card with a red sunset-like background. I also heat embossed Rooting for You in white embossing powder onto black cardstock, and this is actually how I did all of my sentiments today. Since I had 2 more tree tops here, I went ahead and stamped 2 additional tree trunks, but I stamped them directly onto the panel this time. I used soft brown and Cuppa inks for these. Once my stamping was finished, I used foam adhesive and foam mounted all of these elements in place. Now, I love to use foam adhesive for all of my cards to add dimension to them, and this is why I think I struggle with one-layer projects. I just can't have it all be flat. Now, don't get me wrong, it looks beautiful. I love one-layer projects, but I just have this desire to pop things up a little bit. Now, after I foam mounted the 2 additional tree tops, I trimmed them as I didn't want them going outside the panel. And by the way, I trimmed this panel to 4 by 5¼ inches. So I also used the leftover pieces to add even more greenery to this card and make it look like it was a forest. Later, I foam mounted this panel onto an A2 black card base, and I added a white cardstock panel on the inside of the card to write a greeting. For my next background, I used black cardstock along with Hero Arts Rain Dance Stencil and Glimmer Paste from Tonic Studios. This particular paste is Moonstone. I taped my cardstock to a non-stick mat and then taped the stencil on top of it. Now, I picked this particular paste to use with this stencil and on a black cardstock because I knew it would not dry white, but rather clear with iridescent shimmer to it. It looks very light now as I apply it, but as it dries, it will be darker as it will become see-through, and that shimmer will have gorgeous iridescence to it. I didn't do the entire background, but just the middle portion of my panel. And once I was done applying the paste, I removed my background and washed it immediately. You want to make sure to do that to save the stencil, as this paste dries very hard. I set my background to dry for about an hour. Now for this card, I didn't want to have a mangrove tree, but rather a regular tree. So I took my scissors and I simply cut the roots portion of this image off. And the minute I did that, the tree looked like it was designed like that. And I couldn't tell if it had anything else to it, like the roots. I also played around with the roots part and discovered that when flipped upside down, it makes up for a great base for a bush. You can add a house next to it and use this mangrove as a large bush image on your card. I foam mounted my regular tree along with the sentiment strip onto my background. For the sentiment, I went with the one that reads, "You've grown on me." This sentiment, by the way, and all other sentiments that I'm using today come from the same color layering mangrove stamp set. So I'm not using any other stamps today, just that one. To finish my card, I foam mounted this panel onto an A2 white card base. My last card for today features both of my neon stamped trees. I foam mounted them onto a white wood grain card base made using Hero Arts wood grain paper. I love using this paper for my clean and simple cards. I used a double layer of fun foam for the tree top for my yellow tree to elevate it above the tree trunk, and then triple layer of fun foam to elevate the red tree top even more. For this card, I went with "You're the Root of My Happiness" sentiment, and I also added pink flamingo, and I made sure to add some ear roots coming out from the tree. This color layering mangrove stamp set has several little images to complement the mangrove image, one of them being the ear roots, and there's actually 4 different roots to choose from. I used just 3 here for this card. Other images are circles in the water. You can stem those next to the roots of the tree trunk to make it look like as if they are going into the water. And there's also an image of a fish if you'd like to add that to your water. So lots of fun little things to play with. Now, before I finish this video, I wanted to show you one more way how you can alter this mangrove tree. If you rotate this image upside down and have the roots face up, they start to look like branches. So cut the top, that now it's bottom, part off, and you have another kind of a tree trunk for your card. Here's the 2 different regular tree trunk options that you can make using this set. Isn't that awesome? And if you have other tree sets in your stash, you can mix and match the tree trunks and the tree tops for even more variety. So this finishes my video. I hope you enjoyed watching this episode from the Color Layering with Yana video series. Be sure to stop by next month for the next episode. And if you missed the first episodes, be sure to watch those as well. As always, if you have questions, please leave them in a comment section on YouTube or on Hero Art's blog. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!